Survive or die. This is survival of the fittest. Now, obviously, we live in a time period that is not do or die, kill or be killed. However, we still operate the same way as the animal kingdom, the laws of the jungle. A lot of people think that they can get out of life, the rules of life, the rules of the game. And this is a grave mistake because none of us are beyond the law. None of us are beyond the rules. A lot of us think that we are an exemption, that we are an exception to the game of life. But this is not really the case, especially when everyone has that same mentality and that same mindset. And what this does is that it creates a over expectation and over assumption of what you are capable of doing in the present moment. By no means this means that you need to succumb to the situation, that this means that need to be you need to give up to the laws of life or whatnot. But it does mean to accept it, coexist with the laws of the universe, coexist with the laws and nature of reality, and not try to combat the rules, not try to combat the laws. Because resistance is futile. It really is. And this is because our DNA, which is encoded with a lot of instincts that have been around for millions of years. And if you take a look at most of us, you know, the average lifespan of a human being is about 90 to 100. How could we possibly think that we can fight the laws of nature, the laws of God, the laws of the Creator? It's not possible. We may be able to get a few advantages that makes us have an easier ability to create the life that we want, to get more of what we want. And even still, these laws of life are still intact. This is like people who are trying to win the lottery. This is like people who try to become baseball players, basketball players. These are like people who these are like the women who want to be models. And these are very rare outliers, very low percentage. These are dreams. It's not to say that people can't achieve their dreams, they can't achieve their goals, but at the same time, there needs to be some level of realism in play, some practical goals. You can have a dream, but you also need a realistic goal. Otherwise, you can be chasing your dream forever and you'll just be continuously to chase it with nothing to show for it, and people are going to look at you like you are a fool. It doesn't mean that you need to give up on your goals, you need to give up on your dreams, but it's also to say to have something else that you are working towards that is practical in the physical realm, which is what matters the most. Now, I want to bring this to survival of the fittest. We still live in that. We still live in the rules of the jungle. We still have that going on today. It's a lot more civilized, thankfully. Thankfully, it's a lot more civilized, but that's still encoded in our DNA. And you can see this, it's very primal, where we're having friendly conversations and it turns into a heated debate, it turns into I'm right, you're wrong, and this is because none of it is based upon who's actually correct, who's actually true, who's actually right. Otherwise, we would be talking philosophy, be talking about psychology, and this does not happen. What tends to happen is that we try to see who has the better frame, who's sometimes we kind of see who has the better idea, the better truth, but generally speaking, it's about who can present their truth in a fashion that gets the listener to accept the idea that sounds true. A lot of what's going on in society has nothing to do with truth. It's more like this is good enough, this is true enough, this sounds true. So we still live in the jungle. It's not so bad as it was thousands of millions of years ago. Imagine if we lived in a tribal community where if you did anything wrong, you would get your head chopped off. Like imagine if we lived in that kind of reality. Sometimes I wish that we would have some of that into today, to be honest, because today we are a little too we have too much freedom, we have too much opinions, we have way more of what we didn't have before. And also, there's not a lot of consequence. There's not a lot of risk to doing anything wrong, which is good and it's also bad. It's good in the sense that we don't feel a lot of unnecessary fear, but it's also bad because this means that people can just act and do whatever they want, and you really can't do anything about it. You really can't do anything about it because if you try to do something about it, you could actually go in jail. So, it is kind of like iffy. I do like the system that we have currently. If we're being honest, I prefer this system over if you say anything wrong, you die. If you do anything wrong, you die. So, the point I'm trying to make is while we are more civilized in today's world, there's still a lot of things that we cannot bypass. There's still a lot of things that we had to accept. This does not mean that reality cannot change. This does not mean that we as human beings that we cannot change, but we cannot deny the facts. And that is we are more primal, we are more animals than we are humans, than we are spiritual beings. A lot of spiritual people try to bypass the laws of the universe with spiritual practice and spiritual thinking. And in all honesty, it sounds great. I love the ideas. We are one, love and light, promote positivity. I love it. And then you actually meet these people, and it's like, hmm, it's kind of weird. It doesn't actually, it doesn't create, they don't actually do what they're trying to preach about. And to me, it's very astonishing because it's like, well, why are they saying it if they're not doing it fully? I guess it's kind of like a hope. I hope the reality that we can create a reality like this, but reality is such, and that's because reality has been around for a very, very long time. So we can choose to accept it or deny it, but the facts remain. Life is. There's not a there is leeway, and then there is not a lot of leeway. And that's because we do live in a system, and there are basic rules that we cannot bypass. Yet there is a lot of flexibility. That's all I got for you on this one. Check me out on prosperitylife.com for the best tips and secrets on how to win more at life. If you wish to support me and my channel, you may do so with the links down below. Also, if you want the best self-help courses, you can check them down below. Thank you for watching. Until next time.